There are small tribes whose members have managed to preserve the legends of their past until today. These stories have lost none of their original power because they have been passed down from generation to generation. One of these tribes is the Hopi people, who live in the region in the USA known as the Four Corners. The Hopi, descendants of the Anasazi or Pueblo Indian tribe, possessed a highly developed culture which is reflected in their buildings and pottery. Their dwellings consisted of different rooms with several levels, built of modern stone and covered with roofs made of beams worked with mud. They chose inaccessible places that offered them good protection from possible attacks. But this tribe is not only known for its constructions and pottery, but also for its way of life. The word Hopi means peaceful people. It defines them as educated, with manners, civilized, thus the opposite of the warlike tribes that surrounded them. The Hopi have a very high understanding of spirituality, morality and ethics. They show great respect for everything that surrounds them, because they believe that everything has a soul, and their ceremonies aim at the well-being of the whole planet. The Hopi say that their ancestors were visited by beings from other worlds. Their flying shields, or thundering birds as they were called, were able to fly through the sky, and they also said that these beings mastered the art of cutting and transporting huge blocks of stone, as well as drilling tunnels and building underground dwellings. Those who flew in these ships were called kachinas, a name they used to designate certain entities. For the Hopi, these beings were important in their lives, which is why they were always present in their folklore and dances. In one of the legends, it is mentioned that the Ant people saved the Hopi from destruction in a catastrophe that led to the destruction of the Third World, as they called it. These beings took him to underground caves and gave him shelter and food there for many years until all was calm again and they could rise to the surface. The Hopi are known for their prophecies. Of particular note is the tribal elder Martin Gashwesioma, who belongs to the tribe located on the Third Plateau in northern Arizona. This old man has always been highly respected by his people and is known for the accuracy of his prophecies. He once predicted the terrible event of the collapse of the Twin Towers 5 years before it happened. According to Hopi legends, we are approaching the end of the great cycle and are about to begin a new one in which evil will have no place. Martin Gashwesioma prophesies that the fifth world is near. He claims that the Hopi will continue to live in their villages on the high plains where they can live safely. Gashwesioma predicted the disappearance of the bad and the evil, and once the purification has taken place, the fifth world will emerge. It will be inhabited by people with compassionate and renewed hearts, and he claims that the same language will be spoken on the whole planet. To all who ask him how they can help the earth, he advises that the first thing they should learn is to heal themselves. The Hopis say that there were other worlds before us. They speak of a total of 7 worlds, of which the first 3 have already passed away. The first world was destroyed by fire, the second by ice, and the third by water. We are now in the 4th world, which is about to perish to make way for the 5th world. In the Book of the Hopi by Frank Waters, these worlds are mentioned. In preparation for his book, some 30 elders of the indigenous Hopi tribe in northern Arizona contributed information. It says in the first world, the original wisdom given to them made them understand that the earth was a living being, just like them. Moreover, they knew that she was their mother, and that the earth and the body of man were made of the same elements. They also knew that their father was the sun god of the universe. Thus, man not only had a family of parents and siblings, belonged to a tribe and a great earthly family, but was also a member of the great universe to which he had a growing loyalty as his understanding increased. The first humans thus understood the secret of their origin. The living body of man and the living earth were made in the same way, both cross one axis. In man, this axis is the spinal column. The spinal column controls the balance of their movements and functions. Along the axis there are several centers of vibration which influence the primal sound of life throughout the universe, or give indications when something is wrong. Coincidentally, these centers are known in the East as chakras. Another important fact about these first people is that they knew no disease. People did not get sick physically or mentally until evil came into the world. Then Sotuknang, the Creator's helper, went to the Ant people to open his underground world and help the people he had chosen. When they were all safely underground, Sotuknang ordered the twins Pakanghoya and Palongauhoya to return to their posts at the northern and southern ends of the world axis to control the axis and ensure the correct rotation of the Earth. Thus began the second world. But after some time, the Creator again ordered the twins to leave their posts, and then the planet, which had no one to control it, lost its balance, turned over out of control and made 2 revolutions. At that moment the mountains crashed into the seas and the waters of the oceans and lakes poured over the earth. The world floated through the cold, lifeless space and turned into solid ice. That was the end of Tokpa, the second world. For many years, all the elements that made up the second world remained frozen in an immobile, lifeless block of ice. Meanwhile, humans lived happily in the subterranean world of the Ant people. When the time came, Sotuknang instructed the twins to return to the poles of the Earth's axis. At that moment, the planet shook, began to rotate again, and the ice broke up. The Earth again rotated regularly on its own axis, while at the same time moving majestically in its orbit around the universe. The ice melted and the Earth increased its temperature to support life. This is how Sotuknang created the third world. Then he laid out lands and seas, soared over mountains and plains, and created all life forms. The fourth world, in which we currently live, is already coming to an end. But before that happens, we will see the Earth sway from side to side. This will be the signal that warns us of the end of one world and the beginning of the next, the fifth. It should be noted that Ant people in the Hopi language means Anu Sinum. Anu translates to ant, and interestingly, the Babylonian sky god was called Anu. Furthermore, the Hopi word Naki means friends. Therefore, Anunnaki can be translated as friend of the ants. It seems that the two languages have some relationship. A Hopi prophecy reads, "When the earth is sick and the wild animals disappear, a tribe composed of people of all cultures will come to say with deeds, not words, that love is the source of healing, and they will thus help restore life to the planet."